This week's Democratic debate produced a surprise breakout star. Garland Gilchrist, Michigan's lieutenant governor, got a standing ovation during his pre-debate address, firing up the crowd as he pointed out the crucial role Michigan can play in the 2020 election.
So to all of the political pundits who said that Michigan was a red state, we proved them wrong in 2018, and we are going to prove them wrong again in 2020. In Michigan, less than 11,000 votes made the difference between this country moving forward and moving backward. So let this be our generation's call to action in Michigan and across the United States.
Joining me now is Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist from his native Detroit. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Happy to be here with you.
Thanks for coming on this morning, Lieutenant Governor. You delivered a pretty fiery few minutes there. Do you think that Michigan can actually deliver for the Democrats in 2020?
Absolutely. You know, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and I ran on a campaign that focused on the core issues of fixing problems. You know, we have some of the worst roads in the country in Michigan, and that's why we ran on fixing infrastructure. We've had some of the lowest educational outcomes, and it's why we ran on education. And that kind of agenda that's speaking directly to people helped us win by 10 points in Michigan, a state that Donald Trump won by 10,000 votes.
Who do you think is delivering the most salient, relevant message from the candidates who were on stage at the Democratic debate to Michigan residents?
You know, frankly, I think all the candidates are still ramping up on what they need to do and what they need to say in Michigan. So, you know, Governor Whitmer and I are looking forward to welcoming them back to Michigan, because the person who's going to win Michigan has to show up. They have to be present and engaged with communities. And when they do that, when they speak to people's core issues, when they're speaking about job creation, because we have so many people who are ready and hungry for the jobs of today and tomorrow, when they're speaking about skilled trades, then they'll be able to win here in our state.
Do you think that that is former Vice President Joe Biden? Can he beat Trump in Michigan?
I think the truth is any Democrat can beat Trump in Michigan. What the question is, though, is how is our party going to put in the work? I know the Michigan Democratic Party is certainly ready to step up, and the candidates need to come and meet people where they are.
Now, you also worked on former President Obama's 2008 social media campaign on that team. What do you think of his legacy coming under attack from some Democrats?
Well, I think the truth is President Obama is popular in Michigan because he, did some things that are important to the fundamentals. He helped to expand access to health care. You know, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, when she was in the legislature, she fought to expand Medicaid. And if we build on the momentum of giving more people health care, more people access to education, more people access to jobs, that's an agenda that will win regardless of the Democrat who's carrying it.
Were you surprised, though, that that President Obama came under attack here, or no?
Well, I mean, debates are about drawing contrast, so
yeah.
Every candidate is trying to find their lane. I'm not too concerned about that. But what I want people to focus on is the fact that there are some core issues that you need to talk about in Michigan. And if you talk about infrastructure, education, closing the skills gap, the Great Lakes and clean water, like Governor Whitmer and I did in 2018, that is your path to victory in 2020.
You're a former software engineer. You worked at Microsoft. I want to know what you think of Elizabeth Warren's call to break up tech companies. This is something that is starting to gain some steam in Washington as well.
I think that the call for accountability, whether it's corporate accountability, whether it's responsibility with how, people are protecting or not protecting the environment, we always need to have a conversation about that. And in the Great Lakes state, we know that more than anything else. We have 21% of the world's fresh water. And that's why Governor Whitmer, helped work with other Great Lakes governors to introduce a Great Lakes agenda for every, primary candidate to be able to take a look at. But that kind of accountability matters, and we want to see people be held accountable in Michigan and across the country.
Oh, I guess I was asking about technology companies and the call to break up big tech. And having worked in the field that you've worked in, what do you think about that?
I think that there is a conversation about what is happening in these markets. These companies have so much power, and we need to have a conversation about how they govern themselves because they are working with people. And the truth is, we have a bigger conversation that we have to have in Michigan and across the country about the accountability of people, what people are doing with our information, with our data. And so the presidential candidates should absolutely be talking about that.
Do you think that we should break up big tech?
I think that we need to have a conversation about accountability. What that looks like, I don't know yet.
All right. The New York Times also has a report out today from Detroit on President Trump's approach to people of color. It sums up his strategy as one, to win over a handful of black voters, and two, to make black voters think twice about turning out for Democrats or trying to change a system some believe is stacked against them. Which way do you see this going, Lieutenant Governor?
Well, President Trump's agenda has been dangerous and destructive, not just to black people, but people of color, to immigrants, to Latinos, to people in this diverse state of Michigan. You know, the Muslim ban was particularly dangerous and destructive and damaging the life here in cities like Dearborn and in Michigan, where we have such a large Muslim community. I think that the president's approach has shown how he feels about race, but our approach, by coming together with the state of Michigan, you know, it's one of the reasons why Governor Whitmer and I, you know, went all across the state. The governor won every county in the Democratic primary. We met people where they are. We have the most diverse cabinet in the history of the state of Michigan. We have the most progressive agenda in the history of the state of Michigan. And that's what led us winning by 10 months and by 10 points in a state that Donald Trump won by 10,000. And our agenda is responsive to everyone in the state of Michigan.
All right, Michigan Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, thank you so much.
Thank you.